For 3 months in Lyon, we tracked every expense.
And this number tells us if we're going to stay in France. Hi, I'm Scott.
And I'm Liza.
We sold our home to retire early, and we're spending the first year in France on a long stay visa. We're trying to check out different towns and cities to see if France is somewhere we could stay long term.
Most mornings look similar. We'd go to the bakery, go to the grocery store, bring everything home, make coffee, do laundry if we needed to do laundry. We chose Lyon because we knew it'd be a perfect central hub to visit a lot of other cities around France and get to know France a little bit more. And we stayed for 3 months knowing that we needed to stick around for that OFII letter to arrive in the mail.
At the beginning, we were just figuring things out. Nothing was really settled yet. We needed to figure out how to get groceries, where the closest bakery was, which one was the best bakery. After a few weeks, it really started to settle out. We knew when we needed to go get groceries. We basically did laundry on the same day. We knew the bakeries that we were going back to most frequently. 3 months really did matter because the first month's just your arrival time. By the second month, you're really settled in and you're figuring things out, and those costs leveled out quite a bit. We were just living week to week again, kind of like we did back home.
We weren't tracking just to be curious. We were trying to see if this lifestyle would even work for us.
Yeah, this new retired lifestyle. Housing was the first number we locked in because we paid for it before we even started living here.
Yeah, we stayed in one apartment for 3 months, so that cost never changed. We paid for 3 months total, the amount was $6,826, which is roughly $2,275 a month.
Yeah, that stability of keeping the apartment the same for those 3 months was a big deal to us because then we didn't have to neighborhood shop or we didn't have to figure out pricing as we went month to month. We just stayed put and let the life kind of unfold around us in our new place in Lyon.
We focused more on the cost of groceries and how often we were taking transit and what everyday life actually looked like.
If we stayed longer in France, this number could definitely change. A different apartment or a different neighborhood can make all the difference.
That's why housing costs is the number that really helps us decide what city is going to work for us or not. Most meals happened at home. We bought groceries and used whatever we could find in the Airbnb to make meals at home.
And that doesn't mean that we didn't go out. That just happened whenever we wanted it to. It wasn't ever planned.
Over the 3 months, our groceries came to $2,016. Coffee, eating out, and snacks together, they came out at about $949. So all in, food landed around $2,965 for 3 months, which is $1,000 a month.
At the beginning, food costs were definitely higher because I feel like we were shopping around, buying everything we could. I was definitely buying croissants and baguettes every single time that we passed a bakery. So we were trying to figure things out as we went. And we didn't know really what even worked in our kitchen and what we could cook until we got used to that. Groceries didn't come easy to us. So sometimes we just ate out just because we felt like it.
Once we had our usual stores and the meals we liked making, groceries became the default. We would buy the same things and make the same things, and mostly French.
One thing that really surprised us was the cost of coffee. I mean, I'd stop everywhere at first, but after 1 or 2 stops here or there,
it started adding up.
Really big. And so we ended up making coffee at home in the apartment every day instead.
Groceries just fell into a pattern, and the kind of meals we were making stayed the same week to week.
Most days we walked everywhere, and when we didn't, we used the metro, the train, or the funicular.
Instead of buying monthly passes, we paid per ride, and that came to over 3 months. Local transit was $127.79 total, which works out to roughly $42.59 per month for both of us combined. For comparison, a monthly pass for each of us would have been €74, and the per ride is only €210, and that covers an unlimited amount of rides for an hour.
Yeah, you get free transfers between stops all within the hour.
We also spent about $307.73 on trains for longer trips to Dijon and Annecy.
Yeah, I love those day trips. Some of my favorites.
All in, transportation came out to about $436 for 3 months.
Not too bad. I think we expected transportation to be much more expensive, but it turns out we love walking everywhere.
And we really only took trams or buses when it seemed to make sense because it was raining or we were trying to get somewhere a little quicker. So the transportation cost just stayed steady for the rest of the time we were there. We also had a category for personal and household items like haircuts, laundry, shampoo, soap, toothpaste, bath wash.
And we also picked up some household items like a hairbrush and
The Ziploc bags.
that's right, and a HDMI cable for our computer.
And we bought some clothing as well.
Yeah, I got a shirt.
I bought the sweatshirt when it got cold.
Yeah, and you got some pants.
Yep.
None of this was a big one-off shopping trip. It was just items that we picked up when we needed them.
When we added it all together, it came to $1,159 over the 3 months, which is roughly $386 a month.
We weren't buying the exact same things. It was just the timing and the type of stuff became kind of steady.
When we added everything together, it came to about $11,386 total, which works out to roughly $37.95 per month for the two of us.
Yeah. Now that's the target. This is the total that every city has to beat now.
This number doesn't include health insurance or our cell phone bills or the cost of the travel to get to and from cities.
Or our TV subscriptions, which is very important because everybody's will be a little bit different.
The housing was fixed, the groceries, they stayed pretty settled, and transportation stayed about the same.
The days weren't identical. We did different things and we went to different places, but the things that we spent our money on basically didn't change. It was just in different places.
We totaled 1 week and recognized it. The next week fell into the same range, and the following month did too. That's when the total stopped moving.
Yeah, it wasn't from one unusual month of spending. It came from just living normally and watching what you spend when you spend it and what you spend it on.
After 3 months in one place, we could finally actually see where the money went. Groceries and transportation stayed about the same for how we live, and housing is the part that would change the most.
Back home, utilities and mortgage would have been the entire total of this month. Even groceries would have been higher, and transportation would have been owning and maintaining a car.
So this number doesn't just tell us if Lyon works, it lets us know if this lifestyle works. Now when we go somewhere, we're not starting from zero.
We can now compare what groceries, rent, and getting around costs us here compared to what costs us in our new place.
Instead of it being a guess.
This number is our new baseline.
Yeah, from here on, every city gets measured against Lyon.
Based on what this lifestyle cost us in Lyon, where in France would you try next? We'll see you next time.
See you next time.